Demonstrate how to locate the serial number, the product code, and the calibration range of the unit. Also, we will walk through the easy setup and demonstrate how to do a process variable 0, which you should perform prior to introducing pressure to the unit. I will talk about a few helpful tips and describe how to do a high-low calibration. On the 266, the top plate is the indicator for our product code. It also is the indicator for the output voltage, and it also is the indicator for the input voltage. This is an 8 to 30 volt with a 1 to 5 volt output. We want to make sure that we don't exceed that 30 volt maximum. The center plate here is the indicator for the explosion proof housing for the codes. The lower plate is going to give us our range. This is a 0 to 1500. These two plugs are standard from the factory, and they're not waterproof, and they're not designed to keep water out. So we want to make sure that if you do an installation in the field that these are replaced with steel, and they need to be sealed. There's two ground lugs, one on the outside of the case and then one on the inside of the case, and these do need to be grounded to solid ground. Okay, I'm going to start with the menu items here. You can see the left button is labeled Z and the right button is labeled S on the screen. I'm going to hold them both down at the same time for 5 seconds, and that's going to enable the menu items. If you push the Z button, that takes you directly into the diagnostics. Now you can see here we don't have any alarms, so we don't have any diagnostics to check or to clear. And then I'm just going to go next here, exit here, go back to the main menu. Then I'm going to hit the S button to go back into menu, and now we're in the easy setup. And this is where I can set my language. Most of these are going to be defaulted to the correct settings, but there may be some that you want to edit. If I wanted to edit, I'd select edit, and then the Z button turns to next. So now I can go through each of those items and scroll through until I reach the one that I want to use. I'm just going to go back to English, select it, say OK, and now I'm going to go next in the menu, and this is going to be the PV unit or the process variable unit. Right now it's set on bar, so I changed that one on purpose so I could edit it for you. I'm going to set it to PSI, so I'm going to scroll through with the next button. And you can see there are quite a few different options. And then I'm going to make my selection. I'm going to go next again. And this is the process variable lower range value. If you're doing a calibration on the unit, for the PV lower range, you want to make sure that it's vented to atmosphere. And when you do the high range, you have to put pressure on it. So you're going to add pressure to the amount of the high range that you want to set that high range for. You can't just change it in the device and leave it like that. If I wanted to do the edit, I'd push edit, and then I can modify or go next. So I'm going to go next, and I'm just going to demonstrate to you how you can change the numbers. Now if I want to modify, I'm changing through 1, 2, 3, and then I'm just going to go back around and set that back at 0. And then I'm going to next through to the end, and then I'm going to select OK. And then that's how you would do the high range as well. That's how you're going to do the high range as well. You're going to edit and then go through, make the changes to modify, etc. And I'm just going to walk through this to the end and then say OK. And then I'm going to hit next. This is the linearization type. This is defaulted. We have linear as our choice. And we can edit that if you choose to. There are several different options there. I'm going to keep mine at linear. Damping. This allows you to edit the damping. It's defaulted at 1.0. And we recommend keeping it there in that range. The display line view, this enables you to change what's displayed on the display. So if I wanted to put my scaled output on there, I can select that and say OK. And then next. This is reset PV bias. All you have to do is hit OK and it'll automatically do that. I'm not going to do it on this one, but I am going to set the PV to 0. So I select OK, and it runs through and it zeroes it for me. And now my device has been zeroed. I go next, and then I'm out at the main window again, and then it'll automatically come out of the menu. Okay, as far as the dip switches go, 1 and 2, they're labeled here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is in the off position. Up is the on position. 1 and 2 are used whenever there's a replace mode in effect. If you're replacing electronics or hardware, you flip those switches up. Now you want to make sure that the device is powered off when you do that. So anytime you move the dip switches, the device has to be powered off. Now we did make all those changes, so I'm going to set number 4 to write protect. So I'm going to disconnect the power, and then I raise the switch, and now I reconnect the power to the device. And now somebody else can't come in here and make changes. They can come in and view, but it's got a lock on it now, as you can see on the display. And switch 3 is used for fail mode. And those are some presets that are in there for fail high or fail low. You can learn more about those settings and calibrations and everything in the user guide for the 6 HSH. Thank you.